Well, it looks like we will have to wait until deadline day to get the first of any of our player announcements, but rest assured there will be at least two tomorrow, as Tottenham have yet to be confirmed officially, but have completed the signings of Juventus duo Dejan Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur. One player who's definitely on the way out is Bryan Gil, who will be joining Valencia on loan till the end of the season, believed to be joined very soon by Tanguy Ndombele, going back to his former club Lyon for a loan there as well. Now look, it's been not really the window that we'd wanted so far. It's been one that has been painful. We needed to be patient. We've had so many things fall through and so many things not go our way. But finally, we're here where we are going to get these deals done. And we have images, we have videos of Kulusevski on his way to London and Tanguy Ndombele in Lyon, which we will bring to you as the show goes on. But we will start with the Swedish winger Dejan Kulusevski. And Fabrizio Romano tweeted this morning, Dejan Kulusevski to Tottenham, here we go. Kulusevski will be in London tonight to complete his move as new Tottenham player. Paperworks are already signed between the clubs, so everything is done. Everything is on the dotted line. The names are on the piece of paper. Kulusevski in London to complete his medical, according to a number of various sources, and to finalise that move and to officially make him a Tottenham player. And we can see here an image from Alfredo Padula. I'm sure you won't miss that watermark. That is Kulusevski on the plane on the way to London, which is believed to be landing in London any minute now. So the plane took off from Turin shortly after 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock English and Irish time, 8 o'clock Italian time. That plane any minute will be landing in London. Over 3,000 Tottenham fans were tracking this online, watching Kulusevski as he slowly moved towards London. This is what we feel about deals. You know, this is what happens. This is what we do. But once it gets over the line, it's such a good feeling. We have a video here as well from Romeo Agresti, the Italian journalist, of Dejan Kulusevski at the airport in Turin a while ago and getting on that plane to London. Let's talk through a few more deals just while this video is playing. Gianluca Di Marzio and Fabrizio Romano have both confirmed that it will be an 18-month loan deal initially for Kulusevski in his move to Tottenham. Di Marzio said Spurs have an obligation to buy for €25 million if they qualify for the Champions League, and the total fee would then exceed €40 million if he plays over 50% of the matches. So it's two different clauses in that one. There's no mention of whether there's an option to buy if we don't reach either of those. I would assume that there is, but there will be an obligation. Just to reiterate, if Tottenham get into the top four this season, if we finish and qualify for the Champions League, we will be obliged to play €25 million for Dejan Kulusevski. If he, within that, plays over 50% of our matches, that could exceed €40 million for the Swedish winger. Sky Sports journalist Lyle Thomas has said, as we're seeing here, that Kulusevski is flying into the UK tonight, again, landing any minute now, to do a medical at Hotspur Way this evening, so he's going to get it all done tonight. Whereas Rodrigo Bentancur, as we'll talk about in a second, is doing his medical remotely in Uruguay, where he's currently on international duty, as all these South American World Cup games continue to be played. Like I said, the Spurs web tweeted out a while ago that 2,780 Spurs fans were tracking Kulusevski's flight to London. He will land around 8:36 p.m. GMT, which is a minute away from now. He will land any minute. And I'm sure we'll see it on Twitter. We'll see it all over Twitter when that plane touches down in whatever airport he is going to in London. Look, it's a great deal for Tottenham. It's a lot of rumours that this will be a 5-year contract the player will sign if it is made permanent. So an initial 18-month loan. For me, I don't fully understand this deal, and I don't think the full details have been put out there fully. I think it will be an 18-month loan deal, but if we qualify for the Champions League this season, it will become a permanent deal in the summer. Because I look, he's only 21 years of age. He of course has a long time left in his career. If it's an 18-month loan deal and then a 5-year contract, that's a 6.5-year deal, which you don't really see signed very often, especially players moving to a new country, moving to a new team. You can, talk about Harry Kane's 6-year deal that he signed with us, but that was staying with his current team. I'll be surprised if it is a 6.5-year deal for Kulusevski. Will I be happy? Of course I will. He's such a talented player, and as I've spoken about so much, fits into our style so perfectly. I put out a thread on Twitter on the 31st of December, a month ago tomorrow, talking about how he's that perfect player to play on the right hand side, whether it's in the right wing in a 3-4-3 or up top with Harry Kane in a 3-5-2. He's versatile. He has that creative spark that can help us to break down low blocks, as Kevin Orr, who again was probably in the live chat, said on Twitter yesterday. He's a very talented player, and one that I can understand the concern that of course he's leaving Juventus, and Juventus seem happy to let him go, but he's a talent. He's a very, very talented player. He's a lot to learn. He's a lot of developing still to go. He's only 21. Let's please remember that. It's a brilliant, brilliant signing for Spurs, and he will be joined by teammate Rodrigo Bentancur. Dark Sun G with the 2001 super chat. Thanks a million for that, my friend. It says, how happy are you for January transfers? Huge upgrades. But what we're seeing at the moment, what we have as confirmed as we can get without the club saying it, in terms of Kulusevski and Bentancur in, Bryan Gil out, and Ndombele very close to going out. For me, that's a 7.5. That's a 7.5 window. I think we need more signings if we're going to make it a better window. Are we going to get those? We'll speak about that in a second. But I'm happy with what has been done, but I wish more would have been done, if that makes sense. And again, it could still happen. But like I said, Kulusevski will be joined by his Juventus teammate Rodrigo Bentancur. Fabrizio Romano tweeted out again earlier today, Rodrigo Bentancur from Juventus to Tottenham, done deal, and here we go. Now this is an immediate permanent move. Agreement completed for €19 million plus €6 million in add-ons. He's joining Spurs together with Kulusevski, and as I've seen all over Twitter, it's a bargain. It is an absolute bargain. Bentancur for 19 million plus 6. So let's say it does add up to that 25 million. It's a bargain. It's about 18 million pounds. It's a really, really good move for Spurs, adding a style of player to a position that I suppose is already a bit flooded and is a bit, we do have too many players in that position, but Bentancur comes in with a different skill set, and with what he has already that matches Højbjerg and Skip in terms of that ball, kind of winning the ball back and being that defensive player. He also adds ball progression, and we went through his stats on stream yesterday. I'd advise you to watch that stream yesterday if you haven't already. It was the breaking news stream I did, I think at 11:30 last night. He's really good at ball progression, really good at ball retention. He's a very, very good player, and exactly what we need in the middle of that pitch. Again, as I keep bringing up, a comment that made a good point to me, that Conte doesn't use a number 10, doesn't use an out-and-out playmaker. He likes midfielders who can do the defensive and offensive work, and Bentancur can do that. He absolutely can. A few more reports. Romeo Gresti says Bentancur to Tottenham is a done deal. DiMarzio has said that Bentancur is about to become a Tottenham player. Two clubs exchanging documents, and this all kicked off and all happened shortly after midday, shortly after 12 o'clock today, English and Irish time. It's looking done. Now, Dan Kilpatrick has said, you'll see Sofian Amrabat on the side of the screen in a second. Dan Kilpatrick has said the loan deal for Sofian Amrabat is off if Spurs land the Juve man. That was kind of before everything was confirmed. So I think it's safe to say that Sofian Amrabat, who got knocked out of the African Cup of Nations today in a 2-1 defeat to Egypt, will not be becoming a Tottenham player. I don't think he'll be staying at Fiorentina either, but I'm sure that's not really of much interest to Spurs fans once we can confirm that he will not be becoming a Tottenham player. A few opinion pieces on Bentancur, because I've seen a lot of Juve fans on Twitter. There's Juve fan pages tweeting, thanks to Bentancur, thanks, good luck at Spurs, and a lot of replies and a lot of comments who were highlighting his very bad moments, and there has been quite a few. I remember it was a game that I watched live, reminded about it on Twitter today, against Porto in the Champions League, where Bentancur had the ball inside his own 18-yard box, and he turned around and tried to pass it to the keeper, but there was an opponent standing there, and the opponent slipped in, got the ball and scored. I think Porto went on to win that game 2-1. So it's very easy to highlight those negative sides of his game, but he's a very talented player. And as Alistair Gold says, Rodrigo Bentancur has been a big player for them in recent years, especially in the third consecutive title-winning season, and just hasn't sat naturally in the formation this season. He will create lots of competition in Spurs' central midfield. And look, a lot has changed for Juve over the last couple of years. A lot has changed. They went from, having Massimiliano Allegri on a relatively long contract. I mean, it's however long he was there, was 4 or 5 years, isn't a long time, but in football, it's a very long time. Things started to go a bit wrong under him. He left. They brought in Pirlo for some reason. Things didn't work out there, and they brought back in Allegri now, and things just aren't working out the way they did the first time. They're struggling to get in that top 4. They're changing things around, and Bentancur has just really been a victim of that. One who, as Gold says, he just doesn't sit naturally in the formation this season. Hopefully he won't have those same problems at Tottenham, and he could be an important player for us. James Horncastle, who was a Serie A journalist, has said Bentancur has gone from Boca Juniors to Juventus. He has established himself in a winning team, played 3 years of Champions League football, and has around 50 caps for Uruguay. The idea that he isn't an upgrade is rubbish. He's Juventus' busiest midfielder and best ball winner. He's criticised because he's been asked to be something he isn't. So very similar there to Alistair Gold, saying what he's been asked to do, what he's playing in this season just doesn't suit him. It just isn't it isn't what he's best at, but to call him the busiest midfielder and their best ball winner is very important because, again, like I say, he's coming in, whether it's to replace one of Højbjerg or Skip in a 3-4-3 or to play alongside them in a 3-5-2, or whether Winks will be in there, whatever it is, coming into that midfield, he needs to have the ability to win the ball back because we rely on our midfielders so much to do that, and he does have that, and again adds that added ability of being able to carry the ball forward, to pass the ball forward, and to be a creative outlet on the front foot. Just a final figure on those two deals, Alfredo Padula has said that Tottenham will pay Juventus a total of €70 million for Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur. So just in case you weren't here when we played the video, this is Dejan Kulusevski at the airport in Turin a while ago, going into the airport to get on that plane that I would imagine has landed in Luton Airport. I think someone mentioned in the comments there. I'm just going through Twitter now to see if we can get confirmation that the plane has landed. I would assume it has. Dejan Kulusevski in London for that medical to complete that move to Tottenham, which I expect will be announced tomorrow. It's possible it will be announced tonight. It looks like things are going to be finalised. Paul, thank you so much for subscribing. It looks like things will be finalised tonight, but in terms of getting the announcement ready, you want the big video, you want the interview and all that. And with Bentancur, of course, on international duty in Uruguay, where he will be undergoing his medical. Kulusevski's in London. You might as well do it properly. So I do think we will get both announcements tomorrow. That's just opinion rather than any information that I have. But I'd love if we got one tonight. Of course, I'd love if we got it tonight because we've been waiting 30 days for it. That extra 24 hours, I think, will hurt us a little bit more than we care to admit. But like I said, here is Dejan Kulusevski going into the airport to get on the plane to London, which we believe has landed. Rico says Kulu's plane is above Enfield at the moment. Taylor saying it lands at 15 minutes apparently, so maybe the flight was a little bit delayed. Must be flying at Ryanair. But yeah, great news for Spurs. Those two deals are done. Two players that looks like we won't be signing, a lot of rumours today, or three players even, a lot of rumours today. Fabrice Hawkins has said that Tottenham are trying to sign Yves Bissouma alongside a host of other clubs. Discussions are intense. Brighton want £37 million. That, according to other reports, is wide of the mark. Alvaro Morata, a player that we have been linked to in the last couple of days, Gary Jacob has said that he is expected to stay at Atletico Madrid, and reports in France tonight are saying that Ousmane Dembele is expected to join PSG. And Dembele was on Tottenham's radar, and some reports late last night, early this morning, that Tottenham were set to make a move, or had made a move, or had been offered the chance to make a move. Whatever it was, it looks unlikely. It looks like he will be joining Paris Saint-Germain. In terms of more incomings, which I know is the main question the fans want answered, now we have these deals over the line. Alistair Gold has said that Paratici will try to bring in another right wing back, particularly if Matt Doherty heads out of the exit door. So he is still going to try and do that, but it'll be intensified even more if Matt Doherty completes the move away from the club. And he will continue to explore any late opportunities for a natural striker to join Tottenham Hotspur. Samuel Mockbell as well has said that Spurs could have 3 arrivals before the transfer window closes tomorrow. And look, if this was any other year, if we didn't have Paratici, I would be concerned, and I would not think this would happen. The Spurs fan said Jed Spence is a maybe. I think Dan Kilpatrick said that Jed Spence and Ousmane Dembele will not be joining Tottenham. That could be one that we look at maybe in the summer. But look, with Paratici, I think what I've been trying to say all along, and what we learned during his time at Juventus, and what some Spurs fans are learning now, is that he can get these deals done really, really quickly. You know, Adama fell through. We thought we were in a really bad position. Straight away he was on to Diaz. That fell through, and then within 48 hours, we looked to have completed the signings of Kulusevski and Bentancur. He has that ability to get something done quickly if he has to, but there's also the chance that there is something going on behind the scenes. There's also a chance that another deal is this close. But we just haven't heard about it yet. That's just the way that he works. That's the way that he does it. And I'm not saying that is what's happening now. I'm not saying that is definitely the case, but it is a possibility. And I think that's one that we have to be wary of. As every journalist is saying, as I've said as well, it's not exactly likely that we'll get another player, but we cannot afford to rule it out, especially if players do move on. And speaking of players moving on, we'll start with Bryan Gil, who I feel is the out to allow the Kulusevski to come in. And Fabrizio Romano has said Bryan Gil to Valencia, done deal confirmed, and here we go. So Bryan Gil will join Valencia on a 6-month loan deal. It's a straight loan, not including any option to extend for one more season, and no buy option clause either. Tottenham approved the deal, medicals and official statement soon. So Gil will be playing his trade for the rest of the season back in La Liga with Valencia. No option to extend, no option to make it permanent. He'll be back at Spurs this summer. Look, as I've said, and I think as a lot of people have said, from a Spurs point of view, it doesn't seem like the best deal. Of course, Bryan Gil needs to go and get game time. He needs to go somewhere where he'll get in the pitch more to continue his development. But I would have preferred that it was I would have preferred that it was an English club or even a German club, just to develop attributes of his game that I think is the reason why he can't get into Tottenham's team right now, because he has the ability to play for us. He is good enough, and he showed that especially recently in that second leg against Chelsea. No, rather the first leg against Chelsea in the EFL Cup semi-final, that 15-minute cameo. What he's lacking is that physicality, and what he's lacking is maybe playing against players at the level of what you come up against in the Premier League, especially on a physical basis, on a physical foot. He can't match that right now. He needs to bulk up. I think in that regard has the same problems as Jack Clarke, who's another player that's gone out on loan to Sunderland in this window. So to Valencia, not the best option for me, but I suppose it is better than sitting on the bench at Spurs. Mundo Deportivo as well have said that Valencia hope to announce Bryan Gil's arrival in the coming hours. All three parties have reached an agreement. Darkson G with another super chat, again, absolute legend, says, will Dejan and Bentancur play versus Brighton in the FA Cup? Who knows? Who knows? I hope they do. I really hope they do, because it would be great to, it's always great when you get a new player playing for your team, whether you're happy with the signing or not. Seeing him pull on the jersey for the first time, it is a great feeling. So hopefully they do, but I don't know, and I don't think anyone really knows until they come in, they start training with the squad and all that stuff. But I would love to see them against Brighton on Saturday or Sunday, whenever that is. Look, one player who won't be playing against Brighton on at the weekend is Tanguy Ndombele. And George Bannister on Twitter has said that Ndombele will join Lyon, and Daniela Longo as well has said it is a done deal. Now, the most recent update we've got on that is from Fabrizio Romano about 20 minutes ago, when he said Spurs and Lyon are set to reach an agreement on loan with a buy option for Tanguy Ndombele, and that seemed to be the key thing in this one, if there was going to be a buy option and if they'd be able to agree a fee on it, because that was a bit of an obstacle in Tottenham's negotiations with Paris Saint-Germain, which of course fell through. Romano also said earlier today that Ndombele to Lyon is progressing to the final stages. Lyon want to include an option to buy the midfielder, which has been agreed. Now, I've been calling these L'Equipe, and I've been told in my comments to stop doing that. So L'Equipe, as I've been told they're called, have said that Tanguy Ndombele is set to return to former club Lyon on loan until the end of the season. The French club will pay over half his wages and a loan fee of around €3 million. Tottenham do not want a purchase option, so that Tottenham, apparently, according to L'Equipe, did not want that option, but it is in the deal. It is part of that agreement to see Ndombele return to his former club, who, of course, Tottenham paid £60 million for to get him from 2.5 years ago. It's not a deal that has worked out. Café du Commerce in Lyon have, first of all, released images of him, Ndombele, the player, in Lyon tonight, completing that move to the club. They've said that Ndombele has arrived in Lyon ahead of his move to his former club. Benjamin Quarez, a journalist I have never heard of, but he tweeted out earlier today saying that Tanguy Ndombele will be in Lyon tonight. Clearly he was correct. And he also said that he will undergo a medical tomorrow morning. So on deadline day, trying to get that deal done. Julian Maynard says that Tottenham and Lyon are discussing the final details. There will likely be a purchase option, and the French club will cover the majority of his salary. So where Tottenham were demanding that PSG cover the entirety of the midfielder's wages, they're not asking the same of Lyon. They will cover the majority of his salary, however, and will have that buy option for the end of the loan deal, which I believe is a 6-month deal. RMC Sport as well have said very similar, finalising the documents for Ndombele. Lyon will not pay a loan fee, so there is, we're paying I think it's €10 million for the loan of Kulusevski. Lyon will not be paying any money for that deal. RMC Sport as well say the player will arrive in Lyon tonight. So take a look at this. Potentially the last pictures we'll see of Tanguy Ndombele as a Tottenham player. Now, I don't want to say I'm happy that he's leaving, but I do celebrate when I see those photos. On Steven Bergwijn, his time at Spurs is still up in the air. I mean, I think we're leaning towards at the moment that he will be staying, but the Telegraph in the Netherlands, Mike Verwij, has said that Tottenham are demanding €25 million to sell Steven Bergwijn. Ajax are prepared to offer $22 million for the winger. Now, we heard yesterday that Mark Overmars, the Ajax director of football, and Erik ten Hag feel Bergwijn, if he did come to Ajax, would guarantee them title. They're in a bit of a title race this season, which they haven't experienced in a while. In terms of the domino effect that has kicked off here, we knew all along that a move for David Neres to Shakhtar Donetsk in Ukraine would allow Ajax and would force Ajax to sign a player in that position. He did join Donetsk, but then Ajax went out and bought Mohamed Ihataren, I think I'm pronouncing that wrong, from Juventus. they're still in for Bergwijn. They're still hoping to get that deal done, but at the moment, €3 million, the price difference between the two of these players. Fabrizio Romano has said that Bergwijn deal between Spurs and Ajax is not off. The negotiations are still open, but no confirmation of where it stands at that from Romano just yet. On Dele Alli, and it's a player that we all expected to see leave the club, but at the moment, with what we're into the last 27 hours maybe of this window, 26 hours. Fabrizio Romano has said, first of all, there were rumours of Dele Alli to AC Milan. Romano has said they are completely wide of the mark. I think it was Gazzetta dello Sport or Tutto Mercato or something who said AC Milan were in for him. Dan Kilpatrick has said kind of what we really know, but good to get that confirmation that Fabio Paratici is struggling to find a taker for Tottenham midfielder Dele Alli. David Maddock of the Mirror has said that Frank Lampard wants Everton to sign a midfielder and is considering Dele Alli as one of the options. Well, today Everton have come very, very close to completing the signing of Donny van de Beek from Manchester United. So whether that move for Dele Alli will still be going, who knows? Hopefully it is, because we need to get him off the mark. Golden says, when Super Matty Hayes has got more viewers than the Supporters Trust, it shows who the Supporters Trust. Look, I think the Supporters Trust do very good work, but thank you for the kind words. 880 viewers. I don't know why this happens. I don't know why so many people watch me, but I really do appreciate everyone who's watching. Smash that like button and subscribe as well if you are new for tomorrow's deadline day stream. Finally, on Dele Alli, Lorik Tanzi has said a loan is still being considered by Tottenham for Dele Alli, and the midfielder is still not against a project in France. So there has been some rumoured interest from France. Ali is not against it. One player who was against a move to France is Giovanni Lo Celso, and after rejecting his move to Lyon, he is now hoping for a move to Villarreal. Romano has said Lyon and Tottenham had an agreement for Lo Celso on loan, but the player did not accept. Villarreal will try for Lo Celso deal. It depends on other deals. It's like a domino, but the midfielder is understood to be keen on the move to Spain, and he's hoping for that move to Villarreal. Ben Kaufman, member for 7 months. Absolutely crazy. I really do appreciate that, Ben. Says, big up Matty Hayes, absolute legend. Ben, you're the absolute legend. Like Kev, like Mehdi, like Spurs Savage, like everyone in that live chat. I really do appreciate that. Sean says, because it's the day before deadline day. That's fair. Cheers, Kev. But yeah, Lo Celso hoping for that move to Villarreal. Of course, we signed him because of what we saw during his time at Real Betis. He did well in La Liga. He may look to go back there to refine some of that form. Daniela Longo has said that Villarreal are pushing for Lo Celso, and TalkSport say Tottenham midfielder Giovanni Lo Celso to Villarreal is looking likely. Now, one other player that could be on his way out, again looking unlikely, but that is Joe Rodon. And Dan Kilpatrick says that as it stands, Joe Rodon is expected to stay at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. The main real path to a potential outgoing for him is to Brighton, as Newcastle come close to the signing of Dan Burn. Matt Law said that Tottenham defender Joe Rodon could be targeted by Brighton after Newcastle complete a move for Dan Burn, and that I think Burn is on his way for his medical at Newcastle, so that is one that is looking likely to be completed. If Brighton move for a centre-back, could it be Joe Rodon? And if it is, well, can they even get that over the line? We've got Daniel Levy subscribing to the channel. If it's the real you, please leave. If it's not, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. So that is pretty much your roundup, and I think we're going to stay on for a few minutes because it seems as though Kulusevski is getting very, very close to landing in London, and there's a lot of people I see tracking his flight. So I'm going to get up the flight tracker now, just to see. This is now the most tracked flight on Flight Tracker. This one. That Kulusevski is on to come to Spurs. The big man Ryan, good to see you in the live chat. Newcastle, brilliant signing with Bruno Guimaraes. So the flight is still in the air. I can't really see. It says it's arriving in 1 minute, arriving in 0 minutes. So Kulusevski on his final approach to Luton Airport. I never thought this is the stage my channel would get to. I never thought we'd be tracking flights live on the channel. But Kulusevski on the final approach to Luton Airport to land. Spurs Savage says he's touched down, so maybe my tracker is a little bit delayed. Kulusevski's at Stevenage now. He is over Stevenage, and rather beautifully, just a little bit up, just above Stevenage, where Kulusevski is passing, is a lovely little town called Hitchin. I wonder is that where Steve lives, but Kulusevski is in London. He's finalising that move as our first of two signings. Again, just to reiterate, Kulusevski and Bentancur to Tottenham. Here we go. Matteo says, Matty Hayes Flight Tracker channel. Well, let's make it a permanent thing. Let's do it as much as we possibly can. Paul says, look out for a potential double deal and Rodon, or double Dele and Rodon swoop for Lamptey, or did I just wish for that? Paul, I feel like you may just be wishing for that. I'm not sure if that would happen, but look, if it did, would we be? I'm not sure we'd be against it. So I think Romano's just confirmed. So Tottenham Tears tweeted Kulusevski has touchdown in the UK, and Romano replied with a tick and a handshake. That's what Spurs Savage must have put in then. I apologise. I thought you were. I don't know why you said handshake. It must have been the emoji. So Kulusevski has touchdown in the UK. He'll be on his way to Hotspur Way this evening for that medical to complete that move for Spurs. It's a good day. It's a good day. Again, I don't think it'll be confirmed until tomorrow. And do you know what? Let's go through a Bentancur thread. I found a thread here on Rodrigo Bentancur from Spurs Stats, at Spursy Stats on Twitter. Hashtag if Conte walks, we walk. At Spursy Stats, go over and follow because we're going to use his thread now. I'll pop a link in the live chat in a second. Well, we got a super chat there from Kev. Says, Matt, you're a legend, mate. Loving the updates. Come on, you swears. Kev, you're a legend as well. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. I'm just going to pop the link in the live chat. If anyone wants to check out that thread, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll sit here and we'll go through it together. He says, assessing the man dubbed by many as the Uruguayan Pirlo, why he fits our system perfectly and can become a real star under Conte. Positionally versatile throughout the centre of the pitch and a born winner. I'm going to give him a like. We're going to give him a retweet before we even start because I love the positivity. He says Bentancur was one of the leading players in Juventus' 1920 title-winning season under Sarri, as Alistair Gold alluded to earlier. Upon establishing himself as a mainstay in the starting 11, Sarri was quoted saying, Bentancur is not important, he is fundamental. Bentancur was a product of one of the world's finest academies coming out of the Argentine side, Boca Juniors, whereby he played for 7 years before promotion to the senior squad. As a senior at Boca, he won 2 Primera Divisions and 1 Copa Argentina. As an under-20 Uruguayan international, he won 1 under-20 South America Championship. Andrew, thank you for subscribing. Upon his move to Juventus, Bentancur has accumulated 3 Serie A's, 2 Italian Cups and 2 Italian Super Cups, so a total of 11 honours at only 24 years of age, serial winner. And we can put that same on Kulusevski, who I'm sure has won quite a couple of trophies in his time. His Boca coach, Rodolfo Arrua Barrena, said the following about the midfield starlet: he has everything to be among the elite players in the game. A man wanted by Pep Guardiola just 2 years ago, now wanted by Gerrard after Suarez's recommendation and Conte himself. And we need to remember that. Alex Watt says Manny Hayes is fundamental. I appreciate that. We have stolen him from Aston Villa, who I think all of the time have incredible recruitment. Greg Osborne with the £5 super chat. Greg, thanks a million for that. I appreciate it. Says, with the outs and ins, are we stronger? And what does this mean for summer Kessie signing? We're stronger for outs and ins, and I saw someone say it on Twitter. I forget who it was, so I apologise for that. But said with people, they were kind of frustrated about Amrabat. We've gone and gotten a better midfielder than that, but Amrabat coming in and Ndombele going out strengthens our squad because it's an option where we previously didn't have one. Because Ndombele just isn't an option. After what happened against Morecambe, it's just not feasible to put him in that squad. So I think quality-wise, Bentancur, it does add a lot more. And Kulusevski coming in for Bryan Gil, who can't get in the first team, we have been made better. For Kessie, I don't think it'll happen. I think it's similar to Luis Diaz, where if we were ever going to get him, it would have been this window. I know, of course, it didn't happen for either, but Kessie, when we get to the summer, he'll be free. He'll have interest from a lot of teams, and he'll also, even if Tottenham do end up in negotiations, he will demand a high fee as a signing honour for his agents, and I'm not sure Tottenham would pay that. But Greg, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Andrew Bennett says Bergwijn should stay. I agree, even if it's just for that comeback against Leicester. Back to Bentancur. Conte is quoted saying the squad at our disposal is, quote, poor technically, tactically and mentally. Signing Bentancur goes a long way in nulling such a narrative. A born winner with an attitude best shown by his own quote, you just have to win. And I think Kulusevski said something similar, like he plays to win. I apologise. The video messes up on this sometimes. My computer just isn't strong enough, but the audio will be fine the whole way through. So please stick it out if you don't mind. Bentancur has been deployed throughout the centre midfield at Juventus. However, playing as a regista or just in front of the defence is not seen to be a strong point in his game. Allegri said Bentancur struggles by himself, implying he's best paired with some protection, as he will get with Højbjerg or with Skip. Continuing, Bentancur has subsequently been pushed further up the pitch in the roles of an 8 or 10. However, this is not the worst idea in the world in a Skipberg midfield with two ball winners around him, possibly playing the Pirlo role with two ball winners around him as well. Finally, moving on, the stats. So Spurs Stats has taken the 1920 season under Sarri as a reference point, Bentancur's best, and used data per 90 against midfielders in the top 5 divisions. I assume FBref was used there. In such a season with rotation between centre midfield and defensive midfield, Bentancur had 25 starts with 8 assists. Impressive for a player in a deeper position. Let's get to the absolutely world-class numbers. So he had 0.3 assists per 90, which is the top 6%. 0.15 expected assists per 90, 14%. In the field of passing, 59 passes completed, top 8%, with 87.5% completion rate, 94% short completion, and 79% long completion. Incredible numbers. 259 progressive yards progressive passing distance. Another player who can pass the ball forward at 1.8 key passes per 90 and 6 passes into the final third per 90. If those passing numbers needed even more glitter, 67.3 passes attempted, 12.5 on the left foot, 52 on the right foot, 58.8 completed, 11.6 passes under pressure, which I think is really important. I think Josh King was asking in the chat yesterday, what is he like under pressure? Is he a player who can beat a press easily, like Ndombele at his best? He is. And the best part is he says capable of taking corners. Now he goes on to give a load of other stats, and it's quite a long thread, so I'll leave you as I put the link in the chat if you do want to go over and check it out. But I want to show you something that I did bring to my stream yesterday, which is on that site, fbref.com. It compares a player over the last 365 days to players in the top 5 leagues and European football, and gives their stat per 90 and ranks them in a certain percentile. And of course, the higher that is, the better. And when it gets higher, it is green to signify good, which is, I know, very basic. There's an ad here, a very basic key. But if we go down, so these are his passing stats. Let's just let that focus there. Those are his passing stats. There's a whole lot of green there. Move on down here to this is pass types, which is still fairly green as well. I can't really see that from far away. Pass types, a lot of green. Then we go down to goal and shot creation, defensively as well. So we can see he has that passing ability, but defensively as well, a lot of green. A lot of green. He's really, really good. He's well-rounded, which again is so important to what we need and so important to what Conte usually wants to do with his midfielders as well. And those green stats are everywhere as well in possession and just miscellaneous stats as well. 91st percentile for interceptions, 85th for tackles, 1 per 90. He's a very good player. And again, to be honest, he's not even the one I'm most excited about, because I prefer Kulusevski. I'm happier about Kulusevski. And as you can see below me, Dejan Kulusevski and Rodrigo Bentancur to Tottenham. Here we go. These players will join Spurs. Bryan Gil will leave, and Ndombele is expected to leave as well. But let's not rule out any more incomings, because it's Parachi. Anything can happen. Look, let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're on 12,666. Now, I don't want to leave that in 666, so please do subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to be streaming live tomorrow night, right up to the deadline. I think we'll be starting about 7:30, but it could be earlier. So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified when we go live, so you can spend that deadline day with us. Anya BK says, really enjoying your shows, man. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Smash that like button as well. We got nearly 900 people in here, so we better have nearly 900 likes, and if we don't, I'm going to be angry. We're on 263 likes, so please get that up to 350. If you haven't already, it's completely free, and it really helps out every streamer, pushing the stream out to more and more people, get more Spurs fans into this community. I would really appreciate it. But I'm going to leave you again with this image of Dejan Kulusevski, courtesy of Alfredo Padula, on the plane on his way to London. He's going to be a Spurs player. He's going to be joined by Rodrigo Bentancur. But for me, for now, and as always, thank you so much for watching.